On December 22nd, the Miami Dolphins' 1991 season came down to 60 minutes of football.
Dolphins against the Jets, always a barn burner, and today will be no exception with all the marbles at stake for the final playoff spot, the final wild card spot in the American Football Conference.
All right, it all boils down to this. We got to have it now. We're alive, baby. That's the important thing. We keep playing with this.
Miami did have to have it, so they simply went out and took it. First, they took the body by sacking Ken O'Brien 4 times. Then, they took the ball.
Here's the pass. It is intercepted. Off a tip at the 49-yard line of the Jets.
The interception gave Miami a chance to tie the score at 7, and nobody turns opportunity into success better than Dan Marino.
Here's the snap. Marino back to throw. He's looking. Clock is moving. 3 seconds. Throws for a touchdown.
With under a minute to play, however, the Dolphins trailed 17-13.
This gets us down. If they don't score, we win. If they don't score, we win. Hey, Dan, you getting stiff? Huh?
The pressure was decidedly on. With the playoffs seemingly only a yard away, Dolphins fans knew it wasn't a question of if, but how Marino would find the end zone.
We have 4th down coming up at the 1-yard line. There's Marino, throws in the end zone. Caught for a touchdown.
Bliss quickly ceded to disbelief, however, as the Jets sent the game into overtime, where a sweaty season of grace and gumption was vanquished by a single swing of a kicker's right leg.
Here it is, set down, the kick is up. It is good, and the Jets win the ball game.
To simply look at the season as one in which the playoffs were missed would be missing the point. Because a season cannot be measured solely by the final standings, let your mind soar to the possibilities of other measures of achievement. Like passes defying gravity, a receiver defying the odds, the palpable pop of a hit so hard it changes the taste in your mouth, or a play so big it changes the momentum of the game. For the Dolphins, the 1991 season was a test of character, a year where unforeseen injuries, Herculean effort, and down-to-the-wire decisions combined to make it a season of blood, sweat, and tears. On opening day versus the Bills, Don Shula's Chargers heard and heeded, then wasted little time building a 14-0 lead.
Here's the flea flicker coming up. Marino going deep to the far side of the field. Man down there is caught. Down at the 5-yard line, in for a touchdown. In for a touchdown goes Mark.
With Buffalo forced to respect the run thanks to Mark Higgs' career-high 146 yards rushing, the Dolphins looked for new ways to exploit the pass. Marino's read was letter perfect, but the numbers looked even better as Mark Clayton's second touchdown of the game gave Miami a 24-21 lead in the 4th quarter. It was a lead, however, the Dolphins would prove unable to hold. On this opening day extravaganza of offense, the Dolphins accumulated nearly 400 yards of offense. The defending AFC champion Bills simply outlasted Miami, defeating the Dolphins 35-31. If the season's direction seemed unclear, the Dolphins quickly found their focus and their way in the home opener against Indianapolis. The trail to victory led straight to the Colts' backfield, where the Dolphins corralled a would-be Pony Express, holding the Colts to a paltry 150 yards and 2 harmless field goals. And while the defense broke the Colts' spirit, Miami's offense discovered some thoroughbreds of their own. While rookie Aaron Craver's first career touchdown gave the Dolphins a lead they would never relinquish, Mark Higgs became the first Dolphin runner since 1982 to run for more than 100 yards in consecutive games. But the emergence of Higgs as a capable runner was more than a pleasant surprise. It was a necessity.
We opened the season with everything resting on Mark Higgs, and he came through for us. I mean, he delivered. So this, as a coach, this is what you're happy to be around, when a guy that works hard gets an opportunity and then delivers.
I've been setting them up. I ain't threw no moves on the safety yet.
But Higgs did make the moves, and he more than made the grade. A Plan B acquisition, Higgs got high marks as the Dolphins' leading 1991 rusher. Moreover, his 905 yards were the most for a Dolphin runner since 1978. With the speed to turn the corner and the toughness to go over the top, Higgs was arguably the most pleasant surprise of the season. Still, Higgs isn't the only first-class back in Miami. Sammy Smith was slowed by injuries in 1991, but still managed to finish second on the team in rushing. And while Smith is hoping to regain the form which made him the Dolphins' leading rusher in each of his first 2 seasons, Tony Page never missed a beat, finishing third on the Dolphins in receptions with 57, 5th best among NFL running backs. But it's hard blocking, enthusiasm, and leadership which make his value hard to articulate, but easy to appreciate. And while Tony Page does as much with his hands as his feet, in Week 4, Joe Robbie Stadium was anticipating quite a different sort of feat. Don Shula's 300th career win.
Crowd really into it. Mikowski drops into the end zone to throw. Good protection. Now he fumbles the ball. Miami recovers for a touchdown.
Chuck Klingbeil's recovery helped Miami even its record at 2-2, and more significantly, made Don Shula only the second head coach in NFL history to record 300 wins. It's difficult to say which is more impressive, Shula's unabashed achievement or his humility.
Well, I've never worried about numbers. They just naturally happen. You know, the numbers are nice, and knowing that you're in an exclusive club now at 300 is something that someday I'm sure I'm going to be proud of.
Perhaps no other coach would be so modest in the face of such success. But perhaps that's part of why Shula has had so much success. Don Shula is concerned less with what he has accomplished than what he has still to accomplish. Quite frankly, as a teacher, motivator, and master of the game, Shula is without peer. Since 1970, the year Don Shula joined the Dolphins, Miami is the winningest franchise in all of professional sports. But for this future member of the Hall of Fame, win number 300 of his career was followed by loss number 3 of 1991. What Don Shula and the Dolphins needed was a win, and they got just that when they traveled to New England to take on the Patriots. The Dolphins simply dominated as Dan Marino threw 2 touchdown passes, and the defense collected 6 sacks and 2 turnovers. Miami's 20-10 victory evened their record at 3-3. It seemed that the Dolphins were finally finding their way through the thicket by seizing the football and whatever opportunity presented itself. The team had been transformed from a unit which not only believed it could, but knew it could and would. Injuries. They're every player's greatest fear and every team's worst nightmare.
There's a give off to Sammy Smith. He fumbles the football in the end zone, and the Oilers recover. I can't believe that lightning strikes.
In 1991, fluke plays and a rash of injuries conspired against the Dolphins to turn a season of promise into one of pain. The final gruesome number included injuries to 12 starters who lost a combined 72 games. On offense, a battered offensive line deprived Dan Marino of his customary protection. While defensively, five-time All-Pro linebacker John Offerdahl missed the final 10 games of the season. As player after player left the field hobbled, seemingly so too were Miami's chances at salvaging the season. But instead of wallowing in self-pity, the Dolphins fought back, winning 5 of the next 6 games to start the season's second half and get right back in the playoff picture, beginning with a season sweep of the Colts. A week later, back home in Joe Robbie Stadium, the Dolphins tried to consign the Patriots to a similar fate. Dan Marino's 3 touchdown passes proved more than enough to overwhelm the Patriots. But on a star-spangled night, it was the defense which had a banner game by relentlessly pressuring and punishing Patriots. By night's end, the Dolphins had made the Patriots black and blue while finding themselves in the pink at 5-5. It said defense wins championships. But what is rarely said about defense is that it's as much a matter of attitude as aptitude. And the 1991 version of the Dolphin defense certainly had the right attitude. Hit first and ask questions later. Of course, youth will be served, and first-year rookie linebacker Brian Cox served up the hits, stifled the run, and sacked quarterbacks with equal relish. Just a rookie, this maestro of mayhem is only going to improve with age. Number 92, left outside linebacker David Griggs was the perfect bookend to Cox. And you don't have to read between the lines to know what Griggs' passion is: sacking the quarterback with the speed to pursue and the personality to pounce. Trouble is his business, and nobody closes a deal like Mr. Griggs. Number 37, J.B. Brown, Louis Oliver, number 25, Jarvis Williams, number 26, and Vesti Jackson are quickly becoming the key players on a secondary which was the AFC's 4th best last season. Number 28, Michael Magruder, saw action in all 16 games and could be counted on to make the play, while number 45, Bobby Harden, used timing and tenacity to clog the passing lanes. Still, the B-2 bombers Louis Oliver and Jarvis Williams represent the ultimate in air defense. Surely the Dolphins own the air lanes in 1991, but not every football is launched by hand. Fortunately, the Dolphins are blessed with 2 right feet. specifically punter Reggie Roby and kicker Pete Stoyanovich, who led the AFC in scoring. Roby led all NFL punters by averaging better than 45 yards per punt. And like the best, Roby was at his best near the goal line by pooching 17 kicks inside his opponent's 20. While Pete Stoyanovich, on the other foot, set a Dolphin team record by scoring 121 points. And in Week 13 against the Bears, it was the kicking game which ultimately decided the outcome. On a frostbitten Soldier Field, with a howling wind and hostile crowd, the visiting Dolphins took the Bears' best shot, then beat the Bears at their own brutal game. The Dolphins, however, trailed with just over 2 minutes to play when sublime opportunity resulted from a ridiculous snap.
Awaits the snap. Here it is. High. Over his head. Buford will go back and grab the football. And the Dolphins, as the ball flips in the air, it's loose down inside the 5 at the 3-yard line. And Miami will come up with the ball. And the Dolphins come up with the biggest turnover of the ball game if they can get into the end zone for a touchdown.
The test of a good team isn't whether they get an opportunity, but what they do with it.
Here's the pass play. It is caught by Farrell Edmonds for a touchdown.
Farrell Edmonds' touchdown sent the game to overtime, where from out of the pocket came something of a miracle. Clayton was ruled down at the 5, but it was the Bears who were down and out in the cold when Pete Stoyanovich drilled a 27-yard field goal to give the Dolphins a dramatic 16-13 overtime win. The next week, Chicago's snow was traded for South Florida sun as the Dolphins hosted the Buccaneers. And thanks to a rare triple-triple, the Buccaneers were no threat. Tony Martin collected 100 yards receiving. Dan Marino threw for over 300 yards. And Mark Higgs ran for his third 100-yard game, helping the Dolphins win for the 5th time in 6 weeks. They're the NFL's unknown warriors, the offensive line. And in Richmond Webb, Harry Galbraith, Keith Sims, Jeff Uhlenhake, Mark Dennis, Burt Widener, and Jeff Dellenbach, the Dolphins have some of the very best. They were also able to answer the age-old metaphysical question of what happens when an immovable object, Keith Sims, meets an irresistible force, a Dan Marino pass. Let history show that the answer is a 9-yard completion. For all their considerable talents, however, the offensive line isn't Dan Marino's first option, chiefly because he doesn't have one, but two. And when the choice is between the Marx brothers, the passing game is a serious business. And while number 83 Mark Clayton and Mark Duper, number 85, make the passing game poetic, neither is ready to go gently into that good night.
Well, they've been a big part of my success, the Marx brothers, and any quarterback needs good receivers, and both of those guys have been very consistent for a long period of time, and I don't know what I'd do without them.
No quarterback has ever relied on two receivers more, nor enjoyed as much continued success as Dan Marino has with Mark Clayton and Mark Duper. '91 marked the third time that Duper and Clayton simultaneously enjoyed 1,000-yard seasons. That unmatched trifecta allowed each to surpass Nat Moore's club record for receiving yardage. What's more, both Duper and Clayton caught 70 passes, proving they know the long and the short of receiving. And sometime next season, each is almost certain to break Moore's team record for career receptions. Of course, football isn't about records. It's about scoring touchdowns. And by happy coincidence, that might be what this dynamic duo does best. In fact, the Dan Marino to Mark Clayton combination is the most prolific scoring pair in history, having found the end zone 76 times, including an AFC best 11 times in 1991.
I'm glad you sat up here enjoying this.
In the Dolphins' penultimate home game against Cincinnati, the Bengals found out firsthand what the best arm in the NFL can do. Dan Marino threw 3 touchdown passes, including his 20th of the season for an NFL record 9th time as the Dolphins cruise to their 8th win of the year. Modern science tells us that triskaidekaphobia, the fear of the number 13, is an irrational fear. But then science doesn't have to try and stop Dan Marino, the NFL's best quarterback with the most impressive numerology. In 1991, Dan Marino threw for over 3,900 yards, making him the only quarterback in history to have enjoyed 8 seasons of 3,000 or more yards passing. While Marino's remarkable numbers reveal quite a bit about his mastery, it's the marvel of his play in which fans revel. His 25 touchdown passes last season ranked second in the AFC and raised his career total to 266, the 3rd highest in NFL history. And with the quickest release the game has ever seen, number 13's days of great statistics are hardly numbered. Still, even Dan Marino knows that when the numbers aren't there, you've got to take it down and try another way. And despite their second half run, the Dolphins narrowly missed the playoffs. But the future is hardly dark for Miami, because every man who wears the aqua and orange is driven by a competitive fire. From legends like Nick Bonaconte, the newest member of the Dolphins honor roll, to hungry hitters like Jeff Cross, the Dolphins have always been dedicated to full-tilt football. The Dolphins will be back next season, a year healthier, a year stronger, and even a year wiser. Because 1991 was a year of unforeseen injuries, unsurpassed effort, and unrealized dreams. A year of blood, sweat, and tears.